You were never afraid of the dark. Even before you had the words, you felt the pull. A call from the void. Something deeper than thought and older than memory. So you followed it. Inside, it all came rushing in. Numbers, symbols, patterns. The cosmic code revealing itself in waves. Not to confuse you, but to remind you. You've seen this before. You've read this language in another life. Your mind began to understand. But it was your heart that truly remembered. This is what decoding really is. Reuniting the thinking and the feeling, the logic and the soul. This is how you wake up. And when you do, you are not the same. You carry light codes now. You move differently. You speak in frequencies because you remember who you are. You decode to find your way home and to help others do the same. This is why we decode. Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? It's 7 p.m. where I live. This is a little late for me, but here we are. Welcome back to my channel, everybody, and welcome to the new subscribers. Shout out to the channel members. You guys are getting some pretty good content, aren't you? I just recently gave you guys a reading by sun sign or star sign for this particular lunation coming up. I'm Dr. Danny, you guys. I'm a physician astrologer. When I am not watching the stars, I am catching the star seeds. So my main muggle gig is to go to the hospital and deliver the babies. So that's where I've been this last week, in and out, 24 on, 24 off, 24 on, 24 off, 24 on. And so I'm at the end of that. I get a few days off, and I'm just so excited and grateful to be here to bring you my findings. We have a whole new timeline to crack open. Hopefully you were able to see the recorded video that I got done for you that presented the new timeline, and you can see where we are in the cycles of the larger timeline. We have monthly lunations, and then we've got Mercury cycle. We've got the end of a really strong Venus energy, and if we watch it like this, as it moves, it becomes more impactful, more helpful. So I'm going to go through that a little bit, not as much as I did in that previous video. I did leave a link below, so please check out that previous video and how I put the timeline together so that, when you see this video, you understand what I'm doing. I am going to try to explain it, though. Cool. Yeah. So what else? I also gave to everybody else the Neptune by sign. So that is an awesome resource. Some of the constellations where Neptune can be, we don't have anybody alive right now. So, but it's an interesting study. I did have some people reach out to me and actually say, no, my son or daughter is this age, and I looked and their Neptune is here. And it turns out they were using a tropical chart. So, for those of you that have watched it and maybe are still confused, we're doing constellational astrology here on this channel. We've sort of taken the calendar away, and we're just talking in dates and looking at the actual sky. So if you study tropical, I will try to help you. But if you really want to understand, where that dissonance is in our collective, why we always feel so anxious and unconnected, I think it's because deep down, we are not connected to the cosmos anymore. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So, which is why the talk is titled All That Glitters. So, how's everybody doing? We have 11 right now off the bat, so that's great. We have Lori from Washington here. Thank you so much for being here. Lori just completed the inaugural group of Stellar Foundations. We finished that on Saturday. And wow, what a group. What an amazing experience. Because it was our first round. It was very initiatory for me too. And I'm really excited to get started again with a new group. Um, this 13-week journey, you don't have to finish it in 13 weeks. Like you don't have to do all the modules, but the energy of the course moving forward with the group that you're studying with is really what's special, because by the time we get to that 6th 2-hour office session, you guys know each other pretty well, and you're willing to kind of crack into your charts, get a little bit vulnerable, and really understand how Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, plays out in your chart and what that means. So I hope you guys consider joining this group. We start on May 12th. That's a Monday night. It's the full moon. And the links are in the description below. So check it out. And if you have any questions, email me. If you've already done some courses with me, I will give you a special discount. So reach out. If you have the software, you can also get a discount. So just I'm willing to work with you. Just send me an email. Let me know where your thoughts are. We can even set up a chat if you want to, because I know that getting into something like this is a big decision. And you should only do it if you're called, really. I mean, if you want to embody the astrology and the ancient archetypes with the modern zodiac, this is really the way to go. I don't think there's any program out there like mine that includes sort of the Saturnian masculine didactic stuff, along with the feminine meditations and the embodiment energy. So it's really a beautiful experience. So hopefully you guys will check it out. Let's see who else is here. Ultimus is here. Thank you for the sound check. Silvana B, hi. Thanks for coming. Christine Yan says, Grande Dr. Danny. All those beautiful souls. Oh, I'm so excited to bring you this. This was a fun presentation to get together. I don't know about you guys, but I've been in a Pisces fog for like 6 weeks. It felt so thick and dreamy and mystical. And then the last week or so, things have begun to sort of expand and clarify and clear. So I'm very excited to be back in the saddle, so to speak. Some other things that are going on, a couple of announcements as some more people roll in here before we get started. The 13th sign, Ophiuchus, and the astrology they don't want you to see is days away from being available in printed format. The good news is that it will be available in ebook at all retailers online on the 26th, so on Sunday. And I think you can even Google it and look for it. Lori, I'm going to put the title here in this chat. So if you guys want to go look for it, you can. I really thought this whole process would be so much more glamorous than it is. I think that's why a lot of people don't go ahead and publish their own books, because the astrology they don't want you to see. Okay, so if you just type in those words into a Google search, you should be able to find the spot. And I think you can even pre-order it. So definitely check out the ebook. If you want a printed book, wait just a little bit. I'm almost there. I spent probably from this past Friday to the Friday before, spending about 3 hours a day tweaking the freaking cover image of this book for Ingram Spark, who's a major self-publishing platform. They make your book available to all the bookstores, and it's a worldwide audience, and they treat you a little bit better than Amazon, and Amazon actually buys from them. So I went with them. There's no hand-holding whatsoever. I mean, I told my husband, I was like, leave it to me to pick the hardest path to get this thing going. So literally, I'm not kidding you, like 3 hours a day working on this image. I think I even melted down a little bit last Thursday or Friday. With tears, just like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I just fuck it, So I have gotten through most of this week, actually all of this week, with no errors from their processing center. So that means it's probably in the machine and getting printed and links getting set up. And so I will have links that I will package on my websites. The audiobook is also almost done. I have spent several hours daily working on that for the past 3 weeks, and I only have 7 more chapters to go. So I will have an audiobook, I will have an ebook, and I will have a paper book. And there will be a package that you can get on my website. That's a little bit better for me in terms of being the author and the creator because I get compensated a little better when it goes through my own stuff, but it will be available worldwide in just days. So this is so super exciting. So definitely search for that. And I think you can pre-order it if y'all want to. All right. What else? Oh, tomorrow. I'm going live tomorrow too. I didn't want to overshadow this presentation. I wanted to make sure everybody that was going to come tonight was going to check this one out. But we are going to feature another modern magician. Her name is Rio Larmand, and she has also been a part of Stellar Foundations. She is an astrologer, constellational astrologer, and modern magician that works her magic. Her job is to take seekers and turn them into confident oracles. She helps you channel your magic in a way that you feel confident and helpful in what you do. So if you're just kind of dabbling in these esoteric arts, but you really want to jump like in with both feet, if you're new to it all, my program's probably good because I'll take you from the ground up, and then Rio can take you from there. So what do you say we get into it? Let's see who else is here. Heartlight Therapies is here. Hello, welcome. That's amazing. Progress on your book. Congrats. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Definitely not glamorous by any stretch of the imagination. So, all right, let's get into this. I hope you guys enjoy what I put together. Spirit just says, you need to go look at these things. And I go and I do it. And I just hope you all like it. Let me make sure I have the right deal on there. And we'll hide that. And we will look at all that glitters. So there are a couple of days that are coming up that are important. Obviously, the new moon coming up on the 27th is important because we know that it's the sun-moon conjunction. It marks the beginning of a monthly lunation. Depending on your sun sign, this could be you could be in a different part of your cycle. So whenever it's your birthday month, for example, it's always a first house lunation. It's really all about you. It's at the beginning of a new cycle. And it's kind of like this April new moon right here that we're having. It's like, it feels more like spring than March 21st did because the sun is actually moving into the constellation of Aries. And it's always brought that fresh, new, wonderful energy. So any of you that have April birthdays, you are going to experience this new moon to the next new moon as a first house lunation. Any energy that you uncover, either through my presentations or other astrologers, you can apply all of that to your first house. And what's really cool about that technique is that you don't need to really know anything about birth time, birth location. You just need to know what your birthday is and what constellation it sits in, and you can use this technique. And it's one of those Hellenistic techniques that they used to use all the time, but it was more about houses. But if you think about it, it's in terms of constellations, it's really, really helpful. If you just when you get to Scorpio and Ophiuchus, you want to combine them. But at any rate, I'm a Cancer sun. So for me, this particular lunation is going to be a 10th house lunation. So anything Aries is also in my 12th house, sort of dreams, inner work. That all applies to how I'm going to move through the next 29 to 30 days. So for those of you that know your birthdays, you want to definitely check out that Unlock Your Solely Lunar Cycle video. And whatever birthday you have, like, so let's say if you're a Taurus birthday, this is a 12th house moon. If you're a Gemini birthday, this is an 11th house moon. Okay, so you can just kind of take it around from there. Just put the new moon next to your sun and count how far away it is. All right, and then the other day that is coming is in just a couple of days. That's the 25th of April, and that is energetically speaking, brought to our attention through the use of numerology and the codes that are around pi and phi and the fine structure constant. And I'll go into that when we look at the timeline, but I want to cover both of those days. And I want to just open up some synchronicities for you as we do this teaching, as we explore this energy. Some tarot cards are going to pop up. And we're going to look at those as we move through the energy, and then we'll have the tarot cards speak at the end. So first we'll review the new timeline. Then we will look at the date of April 25th, being the 34th day from the Venus Star Point in Pisces, which occurred on March 22nd. We're still counting away from that in Fibonacci numbers. And Friday the 25th is the 34th day from that day. So that's an energetic reverberation that we're going to look at. The Eclipse Point 1, okay, so 27 and 1/2 days from 19 degrees of Pisces, where sun and moon were almost 1 month ago, is the 25th of April. The moon will hit that point in Pisces on that exact day, on the 25th. The same day Venus is on her 34th day. Then I think it's probably prudent, because we have some new subscribers, to go off on a little Pi Phi 137 tangent. It's a recycling of some of the slides, but it helps make the connections that we're going to make when we look at the date of 425. And then, of course, when we look at the new moon, we find that if we use the actual sky and we say, yes, I agree, sun and moon are in Aries, and then we look at a chart, we see that they're both at 6 degrees of Aries. So there's a 6 degrees of something here. So we're going to analyze that, as well as the date April 27th. And then we're going to go into all that glitters, and we're going to understand what that means, and then the tarot is going to give us a message. And at the end, if y'all want to ask me some questions, go ahead and do that as I go, and I'll review, and we can check in and see if I left anything unanswered, or if you see anything that I didn't, please mention it. All right, let's get into it. New timeline. So this is the old timeline, and we have come such a long way. I'm so just thrilled at how there's, something that we can use presentation after presentation and really pick apart and understand. I want to write in purple today. So we're going to take out that pen and see if oh, there we go, purple. So we started this timeline right around here. And I said, hey guys, look at what I discovered. It was actually New Year's Eve when I was putting it all together. And we've picked apart all of these eclipse points. We picked apart the Fibonacci sequence, counting down to the Venus Star Point. We've even pulled apart this Mercury retrograde that occurred during Venus's retrograde, in between a lunar and solar eclipse, while we had an equinox. Okay, all that happened like right here, all of it. And we made it. We're through it. This was some sort of weird shift, weird portal, energetic portal that I certainly experienced. I mean, maybe not physically. I'm still doing everything that I've been doing. It's just that the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the dream world, even, it all just kind of went through this singularity, and now we are here on the other side. So I'll be very excited to see how this ripples outward energetically in my reality in the coming months. And the way that I'm going to do that is by monitoring these subsequent Fibonacci days that are counting upward in the sequence of Fibonacci from Venus. So that's what we're going to be analyzing this day right here. And of course, the eclipse that happened on the 29th of March at 19 degrees of Pisces has these eclipse reverberations that go out in time. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at this spiral reverberation from Venus and this circular reverberation from the eclipse. So we're getting a circling spiral that is literally the process of evolution. And it also codes the underlying materium in which matter is created. The thought forms come in, the intentions come in, and that matter gets polarized, and it feels these reverberations. And so that's how I'm going to see how this portal, or this singularity that we just went through, manifests for me in my life. This all happened in my 10th and 11th house. So it seems to comport with what I've been experiencing. So I'm excited to see what the future holds. So this is what we're analyzing today. We are analyzing the Eclipse Point and the Venus number 34 uh, chronology, and then the new moon right here. Here's the new timeline. Again, go check out that rapid fire astrology video that I did on 420. That video, I didn't even open a natal chart. I don't even think. Like, I just did it all with timelines. I took each part of this and explained it in great detail. I think I spent about 30 minutes just on the solar lunar cycle, which I think is just, I don't know, for some reason, Spirit's telling me that if I explain this concept in a way that you guys can understand, that it will help you in the coming months, whatever may come. If you know where you're at, you can hold yourself steady in your own authenticity. So that's what's been driving me to create this in a way that's not so astrological, but more timeline oriented, because that's where we are. What's coming? What are the dates? You don't really want to look at a chart and study it in depth with me if you're coming here at least for entertainment. So this is all of it. I also went over Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Chiron, Pluto, and Neptune, and all of their major movements over this 200-day timeline. So what I'm going to do now is take out all of this mess here. But let me just go over just a little bit of this for you. We've already talked about this spiral energy of the Fibonacci numbers with Venus. You have a new one right here that is 144 days from the star point. And then the next one will be 233 on 11/10 of 25. So it's just 5 more clicks past this timeline. But our next new moon is here, and you can see that this is a 29-day cycle. And this is this is from phase to phase, so new moon to new moon. While these points here are the sidereal cycles of the moon. This is not so obvious, okay? The new moons are super obvious. We know when they come, but these sidereal cycles, they're a little bit more subtle. And when you examine them, numerology plays out in them too, and it's absolutely stunning. Everyone gets real excited about the full moons, but if you don't know when the new moon started and what that energy means for you, this can be chaotic because full moons are full emotions. It's reaction energy. If you can have a reaction that comes from a solid foundation, knowing what house and what area of your life you need to focus on, you're going to be in better resonance with that lunar cycle. You also want to watch Mercury in the longer cycle. We just came out of a retrograde, just coming out of shadow. And right here on 5:30 is an awesome time to be really mindful and set intentions for what you want. Anything around thought, commerce, knowledge, connections. And then when the retrograde comes, the inferior conjunction on July 29th will be when it comes true. So ask and answer. And if you know which house your lunar cycle is in, you can say, okay, well, if I'm in an 11th house cycle over here, I'm going to be in a first house cycle over here. So how can I use communities to help me with my identity? And then you make that intention. There's lots of ways you can use this. If I'm getting over your head, then maybe start with a reading. Those are always really, really helpful. If not from me, from someone in the constellational astrology community. Okay, so I think that's everything on that chart. Yeah, definitely check out the rapid fire. So let's dive in. Let's dive into Venus 34 and Eclipse Point 1. Remember, we're just pulling the old timeline back a little bit and looking forward into the future. And these future eclipse points, I wanted to talk about this too real quick. These future eclipse points, these are rippling backward in time toward us. And the ones from the previous eclipse are rippling forward in time like so. We get a solstice and a new moon conjunct Jupiter in between these two ripples of the eclipse. So this is going to be a very interesting time. So I've moved that forward. That was actually right here on that previous timeline. All right. So we cleaned it up. I left the Venus information in there. I wanted you to see that as a Fibonacci sequence grows, the points between each one separates. This almost explains energetically how Venus feels to us when she's in that heightened retrograde state at the peak and as she moves away. It's almost a logarithmic withdraw of, the creative force that you flow with. This can be hard when that energy starts to be pulled away, because you have to be consciously tapping into it. And you also need to have had something creative that you've been working on that you can now disperse, because this morning star wants to take action. All right. So that's the phase we're in right now. And this Fibonacci sequence, just for those of you that don't know why it's so important, actually, when you get past 13, if you take these numbers, you can create a ratio called phi. And this is the golden ratio. This is the golden mean, the golden proportion. If you like numbers, if you check out the channel number file on YouTube, they have a great video on pi or on phi. And coincidentally or not, there is a cipher that you can get at decoded.co. Shout out to Jason of Decoding Your or Logan of Decode Your Reality and Jordan of Waters Above. This is a free website you guys can go to and put in. They have 100 ciphers. I like phi for astrology. I feel like it brings out some really, really amazing synchronicities. So any words that I use, I'm typically going to put them in this cipher, and it's going to give me yet another number that I can use and I can work with. So that's why I like this. Venus's orbit, it takes, she does it 13 times in 8 years and creates a 5-pointed star. So many of you have seen that video that I show. The next Venus video, I'll show it to you again. But there's a star that's created with Venus's and Earth's and Sun's dance through the greater 8-year cycle of Venus. So just a little background on why I use that cipher. Also, too, the golden proportion can be used in a circle, which is what we do in astrology. We work with a circle, basically, a chart. And if you take the arc lengths or these distances around the circumference of the circle, and you create that same ratio that you did with the number. So for example, you take that blue line and you straighten it out like that, and then you take that red line and you straighten it out right here, you will get this exact ratio of 1.618. That creates an angle, which creates an aspect of, get this, if this wasn't creepy enough, 137.5. 137 is the fine structure constant. If this didn't exist, electrons would fly apart. If it was just a little bit bigger or just a little bit smaller, it describes the magnetic moment of subatomic particles, and it's always there. It always falls out in the math around quantum physics. Then you've also got 138, which is the orbital periodicity, the Phoenix constant. So these two numbers are interrelated, and they create, phi creates this golden angle or this Phoenix angle. And it's a very tight orb. And right now, this was yesterday's chart. There's a black moon, Lilith, and Saturn Phoenix angle. I'm not going to get into aspects right now, but trines and sextiles are pretty nice energies. We like those energies. Those feel pretty good. Squares can feel challenging. Oppositions can feel like you're tugged in two different places. But what is it? What is this angle? This angle is pretty close to some of the square geometry that we get in our natal charts. So if this square were to expand outward, which I believe our new moon has a mystic square, so we're going to talk about that. But you can get a square within a circle, and this is very close to one of the sub angles or minor aspects called the sesquiquadrate. So it's a mouthful, but it's similar to it. And it always feels like a little bit of tension or like an unseen potential. So I had our software put this angle in here, and I've called it the Phoenix angle. And some of you guys actually have that in your chart, believe it or not. You guys are born with Phoenix angles. And I love to talk to you about it to see if, how that manifests in your life, just so I can get some kind of writing around it to see what it means. I'm pretty sure it has to do with a pattern break, but it may or may not be a conscious pattern break versus an unconscious pattern break, where the sesquiquadrate feels like something's happening to you. Maybe the Phoenix angle is something where you change something purposefully and you sort of interrupt the jarring energy of that square derivative. Also, when you take 138 and you divide it by phi and pi, Pi is the ratio of the circumference and diameter of a circle. So again, we have spiraling and circle. Dividing into 138 gives you that eclipse point period of the moon, 27 days and 4 hours that we're watching. So all of this is making these connections, whether they mean something to you or not. To me, it's super fascinating. And it suggests that there's some kind of underlying connection that with numbers that's aligned to our stars, it's aligned to our subconscious, and the way that our thought patterns emerge, the way that we react to things may also be engaged in this energy of patterns. So it's super interesting to me, but that's the background where we're coming from. And we're landing on slide 13 to keep moving here, right here. Isn't that fun? All right. So, man, I always ruin my punchlines. I wanted to kind of grill you guys and ask you, do you see what I see with just the numbers that I'm showing you right now? I see a 3 and I see a 1 and I see a 4. I may be stretching this, okay? I might be, a little bit crazy and psychotic because of the number crunching and the hunting that I do for these synchronicities. But I mean, if you have the eyes to see it, this kind of stuff just pops out. And everywhere you look, you see it and you smile and you laugh because it feels almost like a cosmic joke. If we look at Venus direct in Pisces, which is the energy that we have right now, this one's going to get you guys. If you didn't think that was cool, and the angle that I showed you wasn't cool, and that the moon frequency wasn't cool, this is very cool. If we take Venus direct in Pisces and spell that in the Phi cipher, you get the number 88. Then you go to your periodic table of elements, and you see that the 88th element is radium, which has an atomic weight of 226. And shout out to Logan, because in his Bible Decoded videos, he ties everything to Ra as God and source. But these two numbers equal pi. 88 plus 226 is pi. So the very words Venus direct in Pisces brings us back to pi. The eclipse point, if you put eclipse point in that Phi cipher, you get the number 56. Barium's atomic mass is 137.3. Wow. I can also do it with eclipse point 1 because lanthanum is 138. There's your 138 and your 137. So we have pi, phi, and 137. Just considering the hashtags and marks that I made so that I could present to you a clear story. It's just amazing. So that's those two energies. Let's go off on this pi-phi tangent just a little bit more. I love showing you all these synchronicities. We already discussed this a little bit, that this fine structure constant is important. And indeed, it is a cosmic dial. It pops up everywhere. I think its decimal number looks like 0.0792, something like that. So if you see those numbers too, that also relates back to 1/137. And what's so interesting about social media and YouTube is that somehow they know what you want to see. And in my YouTube feed on my lurking channel, all that I see is these numerology videos. And mathematicians are numerologists. They are decoders, just like Logan, just like me, just like Jason. And they just have really sophisticated and finely tuned tools to do what they do, but they get just as excited when they find synchronicities or weird actions in numbers. This slide is also a Fibonacci number, 21. The 137th decimal digit of pi is 317. I just think in numerology, you can interpolate numbers. You can change their order and they still have the same meaning. And I thought that was super interesting because when you look at pi, if you switch it and just put in 138, it appears at the 381st decimal digit of pi. So again, another clue that these 138, 137 is tying back into the circular mechanics of our reality, but then also mathematically, 137 is the 33rd prime. And watch this. This is always a great punchline. Pi and Phi are 33 in the Phi cipher. The fine structure constant is 79. And 79 is the 13th decimal digit of pi. 13 is 33. You see how beautiful this is? These are just the way I have connected to it. If you were to go on your own decoding journey, you would find your connections, your synchronicities that make sense to you, that line it all up for you. It's there, it's waiting for you. If you have the eyes to see it and the patience to find it. Whenever I sit down to do one of these presentations for you guys, I literally lose time, hours, and everything seems to work out to support me in that endeavor. You know, I had some downtime at work, so I worked on this. And when I was done, the moment I was done and was like, "Yes, this is going to be amazing," the freaking light went on outside, and I swear every pregnant woman within a 10-mile radius decided to come into the hospital. We were slammed. It was crazy. So it's almost as if, like, the universe was holding all that energy back so that I could finish doing this. It felt very guided. And when you see all of this, you know, you just have to laugh because aren't you doing astrology? I am, but I'm showing you patterns that are born out through the movements of these planets. So this talk is astrology, numerology, alchemology, and tarot. If you want to learn about astrology, if you want to learn more about these cycles and how to dive into your own chart, you can check out learn.drdanny.com. We don't have just stellar foundations. I have a free basics course, level 1, where you can get all the knowledge just to know what Aries means, to notice the glyph for Mars and say, yeah, that's Mars in Aries in my 10th house. You'll be able to say those words once you finish with that class. So it's free. You can sign up there. And then, of course, if you guys want to go and check out archaics.com, he's been on fire the last 2 lives. He'll tell you all about the apocalypse. Okay. All in jest. I love the man. When I saw this meme, I said, this is a great sort of comparison between the type of decoding that people can do. Let's analyze, let's analyze the number 314, pi. I'm using the pi cipher here. So that's another cipher you can use where it takes the irrational string of digits of pi and you can associate letters and numbers to it. 314. We get the number 71. And here our first tarot falls out of the deck. And this is the 71st card. It is the 7 of Pentacles, the 7 of coins. You see this man here just sort of staring over his pile of work that he's done. And these are all pentacles. When I look at those stars, I can't help but think of Venus's 8-year cycle. You know, if you add these up over a lifetime, how many would be there? There's 7 there. So 7 times 8 is 56. So it's like 56 years old. You've done 8 Venus greater cycles with the sun and you're looking down at all that you've created. So like, what's next? You know, and this is slide 33, which is pretty cool right here. Because the 7 of diamonds, which is the same card as the 7 of pentacles, is the 33rd card in the Cards of Illumination deck. So we're tying the pi back into the 33, which is, you know, if you spell 13, it's 33. There's a lot of energy that comes through 33. 33 is actually my life path number. I mean, it reduces to a 6, but it starts off as a 33. And so this 7 of Pentacles, the 7 of Diamonds energy is a restless energy. We feel like we want to expand. This is what I'm feeling around this new lunation. So if this next new moon is your first house, if you're an Aries new moon, then you're really looking at yourself. Who am I? What have I accomplished? What have I done? Where am I going next? And if it's in your 10th house like mine, you're like, what am I building? What's the purpose of it? What's the legacy of it? What is this really going to mean for people? So we can ask ourselves different questions. And this portal, I think, is a stopping point to look back, to look forward, and to think about what you want based on what you've been doing. Of course, pi and phi is 33. We knew that, but our creation is 33. If you spell the word creation, you get the number 33. And then, of course, rebirth is 33. There's a lot of rebirth energy in astrology through Ophiuchus with Venus. Every single new moon is a rebirth. It's a chance to let the past go, let it be what it is. And every moment you can co-create as something new. Like I could literally tomorrow hit delete and stop my channel and do something else. I mean, it's that easy. You can rebirth yourself and be someone else. You don't have to be stressed out or worried about it. I catch myself sometimes being too hard on myself about my own creative work. Like, people are waiting for me to do something. I'm like, no, they're not. They're living their lives and you're just being hard on yourself. Sit with it and create what comes naturally, what flows through you. So we can do that rebirth every day. Matrices, multiple matrices. That's the plural for the word matrix is 33. 13 is 33. So pi is definitely associated with this date, with this number. Dragon is 33. This is an Aries new moon. So even though Aries is in the 12th house of my chart, there's some fire here in the spiritual realm for me because there's dragon energy as well. Remember our white serpent, the Venus moving through Pisces? We still have a little bit of that. She's going to be in Pisces until the 8th of June. So we have a little bit more Venus and Pisces to go. White dragon is 57 and lanthanum is 57. Once again, tying us back to 138. So that's my tangent. Let's look at the day of 4/25/25. Let's look at some numerology around that date. So any cipher you put the date into is going to give you the same exact number. Whether you put it in pi, phi, Chaldean, regular gematria. 4/25/2025 is 74. 74 reduces to 11. If you spell the word 34 in the phi cipher, you get 47, which is also 11 and the mirror of 74. So where are we going with this? Well, 47 is important. It actually shows up here in the golden pi cipher. Yeah, you can do pi a little bit differently. The regular pi you want to use for sort of concrete engineering and building things that actually work in 3D time and space. But if you want to work with higher dimensional geometry, golden pi is the way to go. It makes it so much simpler, especially if you can do 12 base math. But if you spell Eclipse Point in the golden pi, you're going to get 47, which is also 11. Then if you take the 47 and try to find it in your periodic table, you get silver. And silver is the element associated with the moon. This is the eclipse point. How amazing is that? That 34 and eclipse point both say, look at silver. This is my element associated with the moon. So there's, moon and sun together means you're bringing your inner and your outer self together. But this eclipse point is going to be an echo. It's just before the new moon. It's the last little bump after the Pisces eclipse that we had at 19 degrees. So a little more Pisces energy coming in just before we get to experience the Aries new moon. Fibonacci in pi is 47. Again, bringing us back to the golden pi and Fibonacci. You can also pull a card for the date that you're looking at. So any of you want to look up your birthday real quick or pause this video, mine's the 9 of diamonds. But I want to look at April 25th. And I get the 9 of clubs. That's what that card looks like. Here comes our second tarot card. 31, the 9 of wands. This is a card of somebody who has just recently been through a little bit of a battle, a little bit of a struggle. I wonder how many of you can relate to that. I mean, I can. I'm certainly in a good spot, but the things that frustrate me really can get to me, like this working with this Ingram Spark unguided to their exact specifications was super challenging, and it made me do things that I don't like doing. So this card comes out, and this is sort of the wounded warrior at the end of the battle. And 9 is also completion. So this is the end of something here, the end of something and the beginning of something new. It's also the 11th prime, which 74 reduces to 11. So I like that. looking at it like that. Also, the inverse of 13. So that's a neat little synchronicity. Here's the actual chart for the day. You can also look at the numerology with the degrees. Now, sometimes, especially in this kind of astrology where we're using the actual sky, there, because it's sort of new and because there's a lot of people and a lot of opinions, some of these boundaries are a little fuzzy in our work. Okay. If you use the midpoint boundaries like Athen Comenti and Mastering the Zodiac, this chart will make sense. We can use these degrees. If you use the international astronomical boundaries, then these degrees will not match, okay? Especially around Leo, Cancer, especially around Aquarius, Pisces, and definitely around Aquarius and Ophiuchus. Those 3 areas are areas of dispute for us. And that's okay. Dispute's fine. And you know what? I'm not going to split hairs over cusp energy because you're both. You're all of it. You're the entire zodiac. It's just you get to play it the way you get to play Taurus the way Jupiter wants to play it. You get to play Cancer the way Mars wants to play with Cancer, if this were your natal chart. So that's how you kind of go into your own natal chart and you pick your energy apart. So there's that Phoenix angle again to Saturn and the North Node and Venus. Right there to Black Moon Lilith. This is pure creative potential. It's suppressed, wild. You can't control this energy. And it's like making this angle with one of the most controlling masters of the zodiac. Like this guy is all about control and structures and rigidity and boundary and borders. In the stars of Pisces where there are no borders. Like it's almost as if the entire zodiac is piling up on Saturn to relax and just take it easy. So that's how you can look at it. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom into that eclipse point that we keep talking about. So here we have Moon and Mercury at 19 degrees of Pisces. Wouldn't you know it? Moon, Mercury, Pisces equals 88. I think if any of you want to drop some explosions, capitalize BAM, I think that's pretty cool. 88 showing up again. There's our pi with radium. Did you know Venus, Saturn, and Rahu, which are down here at 6, 7, and 8 degrees on the 25th, add up to 57? The slide is 58. Lanthanum is 138. There you go. I mean, wow. Like, there's your synchronicities. There's the connections coming through for us on this day. So this is going to be a reverberation of the eclipse. This was a portal. What house did it happen for you? This is retrograde energy coming in too. Mercury, just finishing a retrograde, is now closing down this cycle, going through that lunar portal with the moon, closing down the end of a cycle. It's the end of a lunar cycle. It's the closing down of a Mercury cycle. So this might actually be the moment of final, death of thoughts, death of emotions that no longer serve us, like thoughts and emotions. Get rid of them. I keep seeing the 19 here, and I'm thinking like beginning and end, So like Aries is the new beginning, and then the Pisces is the end. And I feel like that energy is really huge when we're going this way on the zodiac, when we're going in a counterclockwise fashion. This is where the death happens. So yeah, interesting. Rebirth is 33. Let's look at 6 degrees. What is that? So that is on this new moon that's actually happening on April 27th. I thought what I'd do is do a little astrology breakdown. Look, we have another Phoenix angle, this time between Jupiter and Pluto. I'll talk about the new moon in a minute, but look at this. What could this be? If this is pattern break, and we're talking about the Lord of Wealth and the great expander, the guru, we could have some potential pattern breaks happening around earthly matters because we have Taurus and Capricorn, and this is reading it in the constellations. You're going to have Pluto in Aquarius and Jupiter in Gemini if you're doing tropical. So the angle will be the same, but how might this energy be different? I think what we will find is that this coming cycle, we may find a pattern break around our earthly matters that affect us in a big way. And so if we're not consciously tuned into that, aware of what could happen, it could be a surprise. Good surprise or bad surprise, I'm not judging, but something could happen. And remember, it's for your good. So if it's unexpected and labeled as bad, it's showing you something that you need to change. It's showing you a path you need to take. This is serious. I would take this very seriously because this moon and sun are also involved in what's called a mystic square in this chart. We have 4 squares and 2 oppositions. So we have the opposition of Black Moon Lilith to Sun and Moon, and then we have the opposition to Pluto and Mars. This isn't easy. This is not an easy square. My mentor in astrology gave me a wonderful analogy for this energy. These 4 squares, what they do to us is they create pressure. And what does pressure do to carbon? Let's say you're a lump of coal sitting here in the middle of this tension, this box squeezing in on you. You become a freaking diamond, forged in the fires of Aries, the purification of Pluto, the purging energy of Mars, and the creative potential of Black Moon Lilith. Wow. I mean, this is really, really intense. Imagine if you're a muggle walking around unaware. Imagine what could happen with this new moon. This is going to be very, very fiery for these people. But you guys are conscious, aware magicians. So now you know there's an opportunity to take something and turn it into freaking diamonds for you during this lunation. So I love all of this. I don't think this is bad energy. I think if I were reading this as a natal chart and you were coming to me after your midlife crisis, I would be able to explain to you all the trials and tribulations that you had in your life. But when we're reading it in transit, it's a little bit different. Okay. So that's real intense. That's okay. But then, okay, so we have a trine between Mars and the Pisces soup that's still cooking. Oh, we're not done with Pisces soup, you guys. Even though the Sun and Mercury are out of here, we still have Neptune, Venus, Saturn, and the North Node. So we have the mystic who attains enlightenment through everything that's possible. We have our creative muse flowing through our nadis, reaching the highest heights in Pisces and the lowest depths at the bottom of the ocean. And Saturn sitting there not giving us any guidance because he doesn't even know where he is, right? So we have all this mystical energy. It's like the blind leading the blind sometimes, yet it's so amusing and so beautiful sometimes. And we feel driven to stay here and figure it out. And that's trine to Mars, who's purging things, you know. This is a trine, so this is easy work. It's easy to cast off your old selves right now, especially if this is a first house lunation. Just let it go. You don't need it. Even if this is a 10th house lunation, it would be so. I swear, if anything bad happens to my channel this month, I will delete it. I have no problem doing that. That energy is right there for it, or anything that I'm doing. It's that easy. You should be able, or I'll just, walk out of the hospital if I have to. Don't worry, hon. It's okay. I won't do that. Oh, my husband's gulping in the background. But see what I'm saying? Like this is an opportunity for you to take some really drastic moves that will bring you a lot of benefit. It could be painful. It might be tough. The decisions you make will be hard. If it falls in your 7th house, there's going to be people around you that you're accountable to, that you have to explain your situation. It's real hard to explain things with Mercury and Pisces. So do your new moon, set your intentions around this. What great challenge am I going to rise to the occasion to turn into something beautiful for me, for my life, for the people I love? Jupiter is trying to asteroid Lilith, which can be nice because your instincts are going to guide you here. Lilith doesn't like to be trapped. She doesn't like to let you do things that you don't really want to be doing. So she'll make you extremely uncomfortable until you do what she wants you to do. And so there's a trine there with Jupiter. So it's almost really easy to do this, right? I feel like as I'm reading this, it gets easier and easier. And you guys, both Uranus and Pluto are trine and sextile to the South Node and the North Node. So they're both trine to the South Node. This easy place of really knowing spirituality, understanding the codes in the universe, and our drive to further decode the spirituality, the unknown, the things we haven't seen yet, to figure out what they mean. It's all there in this beautiful energy waiting for us to express it in our own unique ways. So, yeah, it's going to be an intense one. I'm excited. I'm ready for some physical manifestation of things. I'm ready to see this book hit the waves and be out there for people. I envision my book actually being read, and then like once you've used it, once it no longer serves you and you understand what Ophiuchus means in your life, that you leave it somewhere or lend it or give it to somebody. If you so I would suggest that when the paperback comes out, that you guys buy 2 copies, so that one you can keep for yourself and the other one you can lend out or give away. Let's look at the actual sun and moon in the sky. So I always like to show you the sky. If I could take my camera and laptop outside and we could dim the sun and I could show you where it is, we could do it together. But I can't. I have to use technology, which in a way tells me there's absolutely no excuse for people not to know where the actual sun and moon are going to be on Sunday night. They're going to be in Aries. So this is the new moon in Aries. We've gone through the death and the rebirth of crossing over Pisces and into Aries. This feels like the real, actual, authentic spring. And there it is. So sun, moon, and Aries, you guys, seriously, I just typed that in just to see what it would say. And it's 88. It's 88. Like, wow. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for the nod. Thank you for the wink. Radium is pi. So 88 appears at the 34th decimal digit of pi, which I know we're not talking about the 25th of April anymore. We're talking about the 27th, but I just thought that was also really nice that 88 shows up here. I should have mentioned that on a previous slide, but there it is, because 88 keeps coming up. So I said, well, okay, let me see where 88 is in other places, because you can look in all kinds of places and you can cherry pick what lights up for you to create a story. That's really, really fantastic. 34 is selenium, which is the moon, selenite. Selene is the goddess of the moon. So I love that too. And I know we're going deep into it, and we're going 3 steps beyond what we've been talking about. But again, it just comes back to the moon because we have sun and moon here. The 88th decimal digit, this was the other place I looked, was in the phi string. So you can do pi and you can do phi. You go to subadium.com, type in any number, and it will tell you precisely where it is in that string of digits past the decimal point. So 88's at the 34th decimal of pi. 88 is at the 377th decimal digit of the golden ratio. Why are you making a big deal about that, Dr. Danny? Well, I'll tell you why. Because November 10th of this year is Venus's 377th Fibonacci day from her star point on March 22nd. So 377 is a Fibonacci number. There it is. You add 144 and 233 and you get 377. It also happens to be the 14th prime. Watch this. Sun in Chaldean numerology, it's a different cipher, gives you 365, which is the days of the year, and is also 14. So, if you guys like this presentation, please, give me a thumbs up. Tell me I'm doing a good job. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. If you're already subscribed and want to be a member, you guys get little extra stuff a little earlier than everybody else. Please support the channel. Please support my work. I appreciate you and I love you for being here either way. So, yeah, that was a good one. Sun in the phi cipher, though, if you take its individual digits, is 88, because in numerology, you can cross out the 0. So here we have sun in 2 different ciphers connecting back to the sun, moon, and Aries through the Fibonacci sequence, through the golden ratio, through pi. It's just freaking beautiful. Let's look at these degrees. Oh my goodness. So we have moon and sun at 6 degrees of Aries in the midpoint boundaries, constellational astrology. So we have 6 and 6. 6 is the first perfect number. Okay. And all that means is that you can take the divisors of this number. So, for example, 6 is 1, 2, and 3. You cross out the number itself and the number 1, and the product of what's left is the number. And that's why it's a perfect number. I don't remember which the next one. I think it's actually 12. But look what the sixth prime is 13. Oh, there's 13. This is so cool. Let's take 6 and 6 and see what we get. Actually, let's do 6 first because 6 gives us carbon. And look at that. We've got carbon 12, carbon 13, and carbon 14. Carbon is what makes diamonds, you guys. Do you remember that mystic square I showed you? That pressure coming from those celestial influences, getting you to a point where you're going to cut out something completely surgically, in the spirit of Pluto, Mars, and Black Moon Lilith squaring onto this sun and moon. You're going to become this diamond. Carbon just showed up. This is really fantastic. The number 13 and carbon just showed up. And look, moon's arc minutes is 13. So it's at 6 degrees, 13 arc minutes right there. So hopefully that is amazing to you. Watch this. 66. When I saw this, I just was like, are you serious? This is hilarious. 317. That's the fine structure constant. That's the 137th decimal digit of pi. Wow. So this is what I do. These are the little rabbit holes I go down. These are the amazing connections I'm making. It just makes me more in love with the universe. And when I'm in love with the universe flows with me. It works with me. It creates with me. And when I don't do this for a week or two, I feel so out of touch, unconnected. 13 is 33. And 33 is the 137th prime number. So we're back. We see how this is all being connected and tied together. The diamond that we become by understanding these circling spirals and how they're reaching out to us through our decodes. All right, let's look at the day of April 27th. In Chaldean numerology, it's a 76. So 427 of 2025, you put that together, you get 76, which reduces to 13. All right, cool. More confirmation. Let's get the birth card for this day. So April 27th is the 7 of clubs. So there's our third tarot card falling out of this decode. And this is another 7. It's the 7 of wands. So what is this guy doing? This guy is battling some demons, some baser demons. He's like battling the lower sort of physical energies. He's trying to ascend. He's trying to climb that hill. And he's got his own magic wand, his own sword, his own serpent. But he's battling these demons. They keep pulling him back, pulling him down. And the 7 is the turning point. It's you desiring to expand. And so in order to do that, you've got to battle those demons. You got to push those demons away. And man, this new moon in Aries is literally like that open door, just saying, come on in. It's time. It's time to ascend. You don't have to worry about these people that you're battling. Look the other way and keep walking. They can't even follow you. That's really what this feels like to me. Oh, I hope you guys are excited about it. I certainly am. I'm going to show you one cool thing you can do with the cards of illumination to get yet another card. You can take it through these life and spirit spreads. The life configuration being on the right-hand side, the spirit configuration being on the left-hand side. This is sort of like, for me, it feels like South Node, North Node energy when we look at a chart. So for example, if the card that you have in your life configuration, so for example, this person, their South Node energy would be 7 of clubs. They're used to battling these demons, right? This is their spiritual energy. This is their K2. This is what they do, okay? So whatever you read that card to be at it'sallinthecards.com, that's sort of your K2 energy, what you already know how to do. Whereas the spirit configuration is a lot like Rahu. It's like what you're striving for. What are you working toward? Okay. And you follow the planet line, which I think is interesting that it adds a little planetary energy. And we've got Saturn and Uranus. This is God, this is like the expert rule breaker here with Saturn, because Saturn is so smart and such an expert, knows all the ins and out, all the details, all the rules, all the policies, all the protocols, and yet has that spark to try things a little bit differently. And I really think having these two energies together is what's being spoken to us. If we look at the corresponding card, we get the Eight of Diamonds. And that card, you guys, is the 34th card. Oh my goodness. There's 34 again. And there's 88 right here at the bottom of this slide. Do you see that right here? I can't even. We have like 20 more slides, so I can't stop yet. But this is just cool. So Eight of Diamonds, that's our tarot, that's our next tarot card. Where'd it go? Oh no, I didn't bring it out. I might not have brought this one out. That's okay. I wanted to just bring this point out. So again, 34 selenium, 34 is the moon, 89 is a Fibonacci number. Again, confirmation for what I just read you. This is a breaking out energy. This is achieving the Eight of Diamonds, which is basically the Eight of Pentacles. And that is putting your nose to the grindstone and doing the work that inspires you. You can't just sit and imagine all day. You've got to move yourself towards something. You've got to start talking to people at least and telling them what you're doing. If you're speaking the intention to somebody, you're spelling it out. So that, use your magic in that way. Moon in the Pi cipher is 34, just in case you were wondering. Moon in Golden Pi is 33. Mystic is 34. Oh my gosh. If you take the individual numbers of this date, you get 22, which gives you magic. And then if you add magic and mystic together, you get 60 freaking 6, which is the 300 or it's the 66 prime is 317. So again, we're just circling back to all these confirmations about this moon. All right. All that glitters. You can also take a date and look at the date, the number of the day of the year. So the 25th, which is that eclipse point, and day 34. So this is eclipse point 1, and day 34 for Venus is 115. If you take the words constellational astrology, I was just playing around. It comes to 115. I was like, holy crap, that's the day of the Venus wave, and that's the day of the eclipse point wave. There must be something here. Let's see what else I can think about. And then I thought about that mystic square, the diamond. And then I remembered a meme that I had posted a while back. In search of gold, we lost diamonds. How profound a statement is that? Because if you look at this meme, the top one is in search of gold, which is the city lights, the illusion, everything that's before us, everything that we get so upset about on a daily basis. That gold, that rush, that the endorphins, the oxytocin, the dopamine, the serotonin, all the feel-good stuff that we also have to go through all this pain just to get. We lost our diamonds, which are the actual stars in the sky. And so this message came through loud and clear for me, because I did a little numerology around that. Diamond is 51, which reduces to 6. The 5 and the 1 go to 6, which is our carbon. Carbon is diamond, okay? Carbon 13 is 33 in Chaldean numerology. This is where all the codes coming together. Now, gold, let's take the word gold, is 79. Guess what else is 79? Tropical astrology. Now, I don't mean to be rude. I'm not saying it's a bad system. I'm just saying it's an astrological system where you can hire an astrologer that may not even know where Jupiter is in the sky, that will see shining twinkling lights above them and not be able to tell you what they are. Not even for once look in the sky to interpret your birth chart or what's happening for you today. They just look at this construct. In search of gold. It's the illusion. It's part of the illusion. And precession shows us that the positions have changed. It's time to break out of this construct. It's time to surgically remove this. Use all the knowledge that we've gained, but put our focus to the sky. I just thought it was a perfect opportunity to get on a soapbox, because if you also put new moon in Taurus, which is where tropical astrologers will tell you this new moon is, it is also 79. It is also part of the illusion. The new moon will not be in Taurus. If you align yourself to Taurus energy, you will be within the illusion. And that's okay if that's where you are. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying a lot of you are watching because you know you're in an illusion and you want to break out. I suggest that you grab that astrology and really take a look at where you are. I can help you. We have a whole group of community members on the Fellowship of 13 Signs that can help you. And if, at least try it. If it doesn't resonate, it's totally fine. When we think about the real gold, which is our aura, our energetic body, what we give our energy to, we type that into the phi cipher, we get 6, which takes us back to our diamonds. So there you have it. Both of these systems, both tropical astrology and constellational astrology, numerically reduced to 7. And so these couple of slides, the chariot wanted to pop out. And the chariot represents a choice. And again, it's another 7. Remember, we had a 7 of clubs, a 7 of diamonds, and now we have the chariot. So we have all these 7s here. And it's a shifting energy. It's the center of the vortex, switching from one mode of vibration to the next. And you have a choice here with the chariot. You've got this black guy over here or this white guy over here. There's no judgment in either one. It's just there's a polarity. And if you work them both right, you end up with a moving system that oscillates, that creates energy, that helps you to create. So you have to push one and pull the other in order for movement to occur here. So let's pull all of these tarot cards back into alignment and into our focus to see what message we got. Just to review, we got the 7 of Pentacles. We got the 9 of Wands, the 7 of Wands, and the Chariot. So here we are in card number 1. There's a couple ways you can read these, by the way, guys. If you want to read it as situation, challenge, advice, and outcome, you can do that. If you want to read it as past, present, or future and the outcome, you can also do that. You can also give these elements, earth, fire, wind, and water, although I didn't specify the alignment, so I'm not doing that. But I thought maybe we'd just do both. So the situation is, we've been working on something. We've been doing something. We've been enjoying it. It's Venus. We love it. But now it's sort of collecting. What does it really mean? We have to make a decision. And the challenge is we've been beat up. We're at the end of a cycle here. We're going through a singularity. We've just been squeezed through this space, and we're a little beat up right now. And so that's the challenge. So what do we do? Do we keep fighting? The advice card says, do we keep fighting? I mean, you have your stick. Nobody's taken your stick. And you've got all these other people poking you with theirs. Is it helpful to keep poking back? Or do you pull your stick back to your frame of reference and you turn around and you move forward? I would say rest and don't look back and own what's next, because the outcome is a major arcana card, which is usually really good stuff. This means energy is going to come quick. It's going to come fast. And if you do it right, you'll manifest greatness. And that's what I see with this tarot spread. So hopefully that resonates with you. It resonates with me. Again, past, present, and future. So some of you maybe, I've been going through this struggle. I'm doing it, but I'm not doing it passionately anymore. There's no life in it. There's no oomph in it. And I'm feeling really tired right now, but I know I'm at the end of something. And then the future would be, you have some work to do. You have some battles to go through, but ultimately the outcome is amazing. It's everything you ever wanted. It's the chariot, carrying the sun across the sky. It's the beginning of something beautiful. These cards also have numbers, you guys. Remember 71, 13, 29, and 7? Check this out. If you guys are polymaths and you've already done the math in your head, this shouldn't surprise you at all. What? Yeah. The 4 cards that just so happened to fall out of this presentation at the end came to set 138. I didn't plan it. You saw it. I just kind of winged it. I went through each code, each little path till I got to a dead end or a circular loop and showed you what I got. And these 4 cards fell out. And here we have freaking 138. So that is my presentation. Just remember, guys, there are only a few elements that you can actually lick. Somebody sent this to me. So the ones in purple don't. The ones in red definitely don't. And if you do yellow, you may want to stay at home for a few days. And then green, yes, you can lick. So just wanted to end this on a light note. And again, the slide ends at 115, which is the numerology for constellational astrology. So thank you so much for listening to me, for following me on this journey. If you've made some connections, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. If you saw something I didn't see, please let me know. Here's a list of websites where you can go to try your own decoding out. If you get a little hit or a calling to see how it would go for you, this is absolutely where you can start. And don't be discouraged. Like, you're not going to know the words to come up with right away. You're going to experiment. You're going to see, you're going to just go through your process, try things out and see what connects. Because ultimately your greatest source is source, right? You guys are all just fractals, divine, beautiful souls of source. And we're all here having an amazing experience. And when we see these connections, we know we are not, alone by ourselves down here trying to figure it all out. How was that for you guys? Did you enjoy that? Let me look through the comments and see if you guys had any questions. Let me see. We'll go backwards as I go. A lot of thank yous, a lot of wow. I love it. Key to well-being is possibly a new vehicle. Good. Yeah. I mean, get rid of that old junker or keep it and refurbish it. Get something new. We are ripe for new energy. Tracy says, Dr. Danny, I wonder, have you used the S decipher you are using now and use it in the Western astrology system? I think if you are a Western astrologer and you use this numerology, you could probably come up with some tight connections. I'm pretty sure you could, because when you're working with source, whatever tool you're using, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad if you're using, tropical astrology. I just wanted to make my point because I love using constellational astrology. But if you're not there yet, or you're never going to get there, and you're using tropical astrology and you're decoding, you're going to find connections. I mean, look at Logan, for example. It wasn't until last year that he started using constellational astrology, but before that he was using tropical, and his decodes were still fire. Like, he still found connections that we could see and understand. Laura needs to restart her device. Egreen says, only way to get anywhere is to break the rules. Right. But I think if you use Saturn energy, that expert energy, then you know precisely where to break the rules and in precisely what order, so that you're not a chaos agent. There's always got to be a little bit of chaos, but a little bit of chaos, a little bit at a time, can be really, really creative and wonderful. Let's see. Brian Hardy says, oh, so the new moon is in Aries and I have Aries in my 11th house. So that's what I should gear any manifestation towards. Brian, if you remind me where your sun is, I can tell you also how your sun is looking at this lunation. I don't remember what month you are. But yes, it's 11th house. So this new moon is going to have themes of community, groups, friends, distant relatives, the love you receive. And so let's say, for example, that you were also born in Aries, okay? Then this would be a first house lunation for your Aries sun. So that community, those groups of friends, that distant family will flavor how you identify, or how your sun or your ego identifies. So yes, there's lots of cool ways to look into that. All right. Oh, yeah, Lady Spellbreaker. I love you so much. You are just a wonderful code breaker yourself, always giving me little tidbits. When I saw that the Pope had passed away, God rest his soul, um, and that he was 88 years old, I was like literally in the middle of this presentation. I didn't want to bring that up because that's kind of a weird and morbid synchronicity, but you brought it up, lady. So I'm gonna say it. Yeah, while I was doing it, I got the news and I was like, huh, how cool is that? Not that he passed away, but 88 is definitely a good, that's a nice, healthy age in this day and age to get to. So that's pretty good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Let's see if there's any questions. Deb has tried out Dakota and it's helped her decode. That's great. Yeah, follow your own synchronicities. I mean, these are just mine. You guys may not like them, you may not agree with them. That's fine, but it lights me up. So let's see if any new questions are coming. Pebble said, blew my mind, 88 Easter. Yeah. Pebbles also says, I learned astrology with tropical, but real sky feels true. The ancients brought us astrology by literally watching the sky at night after night after night. They certainly did. They certainly did. And that's where tropical gets the energies that they read for these archetypes from the ancients. They just stopped it in time. Instead of letting that wheel progress through time, they stopped it. They stopped it when they started it. I mean, if you say that the equinox is on March 21st is 0 degrees of Aries, that's literally giving you the birthday of that zodiac 2,000 years ago. So they stopped it in time and we've been stuck in this. And because it's so slow, because it's only 1 degree per 72 years, we literally don't notice it within one lifetime, but you can see it over generations. And that's why if you look into the work, the chronology of that Jason Brashears is doing on archaics, that will show you that. It shows you the degradation of our collective over the last 2,000 years. And people are waking up because that dissonance is getting greater and greater and greater. They're either like throwing away astrology altogether because they don't know that you can practice it tropic or constellationally, or they come down this path and they find out where their sun and their moon and their energy really is, and then that whole journey of knowing yourself is the key. It's the key. And that Ophiuchus energy, man, that's not taught in tropical astrology. That's that breaking out. That's getting out of the construct, getting out of the matrix, waking up while you're still here. Amazing to be able to do that. And anyone that's watching, you're probably in that space. So, all right, you guys. Well, I'm so happy that y'all joined me on this journey. Join me tomorrow when I feature Rio. She's a great young lady. She's an old soul, a young woman, 2 kids, an entrepreneur, working her butt off to do life her way. And at such a young age, I'm jealous. I wish I had thought of it this way when I was, as young as she is. But she's going to come on and talk to us. And we are scheming to do a collaboration for teaching you guys some advanced techniques over the summer. So we're going to talk to her tomorrow at noon. So I hope you all will join us. Come and ask her questions. She's a great astrologer too. She has some challenging placements with Pluto and Mars and Saturn. So to be so integrated at such a young age just speaks to her placements and how they can manifest differently. I'm excited to talk to her. And then yeah, I'll probably go live over the weekend with the teaching. I don't know what's coming, but I'll have it. It'll come to me. And then join the fellowship of the Facebook group Fellowship of 13 Signs. Check out my book title. See if you can pre-order. It's coming out on Sunday. And then in a couple days, there'll be an announcement about the paperback and some packages on my website. And then, of course, Stellar Foundations is ramping up. Oh, so many wonderful things to be excited about, you guys. And I'm excited to bring you with me. So I'll see if you all have another quick question. Let's see. Pebble says, I have Mars and Ophiuchus, learned courtesy of your site. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, you and Logan both have that. You guys are just surrenderers. It's not the easiest path. Darlene says 13 is the number of the goddess awakening. No, my solar return is not tomorrow. My solar return is August 4th. So, I am a Cancer, but thank you. Actually, because of how blessed I feel like every day is my birthday. So, um, I hope you guys feel that way too, because you all bless me. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? At noon, we'll talk to Ria. We'll have a wonderful chat, and we will feature her. So y'all have a good one. I'm going to end this with the top 10 reasons why you should study astrology.